arms outstretched. Finish in that position, explode from that position, yeah? Hold.
When I first went into boxing science, I said I want to be a world-class performer. We put together a plan. We said in 4 years' time, you're going to have world-level fitness, world-level strength at this weight division, and it's come before that, I feel, and it's still developing into an elite level. I'm really pleased with how we've progressed, and it's still going very well. Every session is grueling. All the conditioning is very tough. There's different ways to go about different things. Today we're running in the altitude tent to take the speed out of my legs, but still work my cardiovascular system at a high level.
Come on, let's go, Jordan.
Boxing has left out strength conditioning. I think now people are starting to realise how important it actually is and how much further it can develop your performance. I feel like they've turned me from a boy into a man. Mentally, physically, they're pushing me every single week. Danny, Alan, and young Tommy Monday coming through, working hard and training smart, just like I am in the boxing game.
Good work. Strength training in years 3 and 4. We're going into bigger fights now, so there were more sparring and the need for conditioning. So strength had to take a step back. We had to make sure that the strength training that Jordan was doing wasn't having an impact on the conditioning and the sparring sessions. So we had to be a little bit smarter. We didn't want him to experience neural or muscular fatigue. So we need to carefully program to maintain maximal strength during a limited time frame. So we only started using maximal strength in 3-week blocks, and then the majority of the camp working on strength, speed, and speed strength. To get the most out of this, we introduced velocity-based training on deadlifts, on Romanian deadlifts, on squats, but also on loaded jumps, such as loaded counter movement jump and trap bar jumps. Then adapting exercises around movement restrictions. We've had to play with cleans and split jerks. We found out that this took a lot out of Jordan's wrists, elbows, shoulders. We couldn't risk this now. We couldn't risk getting injuries when we've got big fights coming up and we've got important spars to perfect Jordan's craft going into these important fights. We needed to adapt the exercises to reduce the likelihood of injury, but also get the most out of Jordan. So to go a little bit more specific with this, I'm going to introduce a velocity-based training case study. This was used for Jordan to be strong and explosive at 9 stone when he was making the championship weight for the first time. With our velocity-based training, we create a load velocity profile. You can see with Jordan here, on the black lines, comparing to the average velocity on the blue lines, you can see that it's very well adapted to lower weight loads. It's very fast, but as soon as we get to these higher weight loads, the difference gets a lot smaller. Needed to improve his speed and his strength up at them high weight loads, but not for the sacrifice of his conditioning and his sparring as well. So we needed to try and improve his lifting speeds, at maximal weight loads, even though we only got 3 weeks of maximal strength training. It was his first weight at the championship weight and lowest body mass that he's fought at in over 10 years. And also he had a hip flexor strain 8 weeks away from the fight, and he struggled with squats and higher loads. How are we going to keep improving maximal strength when he struggled with doing the heavy squats? So we take a look at his load velocity data, the trap bar deadlift. You can see it's very well adapted. These are all color coded here. 76% 1 rep max, but then as you get towards 83, 90% 1 rep max, in comparison to the average, is going a lot lower. So as soon as it's hitting that 90% max, his speeds drop off. So we needed to try and improve this. But again, so that it doesn't have a massive impact on his boxing. So what we needed to do is change his strength into super strength. We wanted to keep working on explosive actions and keep working fast movements. So we worked in different phases. Phase 1 was 3 weeks, the other was 5 weeks. So we're working on the trap bar deadlift in particular. The first 3 weeks are working between 87 and 93% 1 rep max. And this improved his velocity at 17% at 93% 1 rep max. And in phase 2, working between 85 down to 75% 1 rep max as we're getting closer to the fight. Improved his trap bar deadlift velocity 3% at 76% 1 rep max. So basically that is like still improving, like making improvements on what he was excelling in already, but working 17% on his weakness, 3% on his on what he's excelling in already. So despite a reduction in body mass, large training loads and a minor injury, we managed to improve Jordan's velocities at high weight loads and maintained explosiveness at lower percentage 1 rep max. And then since then, we decided, right, we want to maintain maximal strength, but focus on the lower end, focus on how it's expressing that force at lower loads, working on fast and explosive movements. And we've had 4 training camps since. Max strength has been trained for 2 or 3 weeks per camp. And Jordan has further improved his velocities across all weight loads despite minimal work at max strength. So March 2018 to November 2018, you're seeing 15 to 17% improvements, which is massive. Like I said towards the start about his conditioning, we talked about he's becoming an elite athlete now, and in elite sport, you work off your 1% and maybe even your 0.1%. Jordan's still making 15% improvements just in a 6-month period. And the main thing that we use to try and express that force at that other end of the force velocity curve is stuff like loaded counter movement jumps and trap bar jumps.
Ready?
Yeah. 159. 162. 163. Good. So this is some of Jordan's data. Doing it at regular sessions, part of his extended warm-up and part of a main exercise as well. So the blue lines are his weight load, and orange is his velocities performed, and we can see that it's improved his velocity at 17%. So the difference between here and there is 17%, but it's got a 2.5 kilo higher weight load, so he's becoming faster and more explosive. So you saw in the video on the science behind the punch earlier, Jordan is really fast and explosive. We're using trap bar jumps to keep improving as well. So despite this being his forte, to be fast and explosive, we're still making 10% improvements. Especially on the trap bar jumps, we use them in extended warm-ups during maximum strength phases. Also during complex training as well, so we'll do a lift of 85 to 90% 1 rep max, but we'll add a trap bar jump in there, either in between sets or a following exercise as well. And then this transitions into the speed phase, where we're seeing these 10% improvements as well.